Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Mika Wash. I'm still waiting for the other girls to join. They're out there cooking and taking care of children and everything. But you also can join if you want to. The link is in the description. If not, I'll post a link in the comments here. Let me get the link. And then also, I just want to let you know this discussion will be about blacks and the discrepancies in the workplace. And the reason why I chose this topic is because it's hump day. We will be having different, more in deep topics, but in depth topics. But right now, we just, scratching the surface here. I want my cat podcast to be more about the social injustices that Black people face, but I also want us to talk about things where we can unite with one another. I'm trying to buy myself some time here, but we're also going to be talking about microaggression and implicit bias and downright racism in the workplace. I'll be showing a few videos and getting your opinions on things. First, let me get this link. In the meantime, I'm trying to play some music for you guys. This is get you guys the opportunity to come on in here. Let me go there first. Something's wrong with my sound card or something. If you can hear me in the and you're watching, can you press one in the comments just to let me know you can hear? I know it's a couple of you watching. If you can hear, press one in the comments. But let me drop this link real quick. Okay, still waiting for the girls to show up. But I'm gonna drop the link, and then I'm gonna show you guys a video and some other things about microaggression and those other things. Okay, so before we get started, let me get some music here. Why is it doing this? I don't want that to do that. Let's see. I don't know why my music won't play while I'm doing this. Let me see if I can open it with something else. What is really going on? I got my passport on here and it's not playing anything. I don't know what's really going on with that. Yeah, I keep getting this error message on the music. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna share my screen and give you guys the definition of microaggression. Okay, we got y'all in the studio, but first I'm gonna just give you guys the definition of microaggression. Lord, no. Let me add her to the stream. Good evening, y'all. Thank you for joining. Can you hear me,
Yeah, I can hear you.
Miyaka?
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Can
hear
anybody hear me? Yeah, I can't hear her. So she's on the stream, but I guess she's
you. Who else is on the stream?
Miyaka. Can
Uh-huh.
you say something just to let me know you're on? You can hear.
Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you or anything. Okay. So
I'm
let me
here.
see. I want to share this screen. So let me get to it. One, a tab. Okay. Here we go. Microaggression. So microaggression. Okay. It's a comment or action that subtly and often unconsciously or unintentionally expresses a prejudice attitude toward a member or marginalize a group, such as a racial minority, a digital photo project run by Fordham University student about racial microaggression features minority students holding up signs with comments like, okay, well, I didn't read the rest of that. But so that's the definition of microaggression. And then let's see if you guys can see this. Give me a second to see if it's going to do that. Got a little lag. Yeah, why isn't my screen being shared? Okay, so oh, I'm sorry. Did go to screen. I gotta add it to. So if you guys can see that, that's the definition of microaggression. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna move on to the next share screen. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just having some old technical difficulties today. I can't even get my music to play, and that's irritating me. So now I'm gonna do the uh the um implicit bias. So, implicit bias is race and ethnicity bias. Race and ethnicity bias occurs when people assume certain characteristics about someone. Okay, and age bias, and you have age bias and gender bias when it comes to implicit bias. And so, let me tell y'all what happened to me. I had a gender bias at work before because I was a heterosexual woman and I had a homosexual superior. When I came to that job, I guess he thought that I was interested in gossiping and talking about hair and clothes and all those things. And my thing was, I wanted to come to work. I had no interest of gossiping about other people. My boss, he used to bring me in his office so he could talk about other employees and the way they dressed. And I guess he admired the way that I dressed, and he liked the way I did my hair and everything. So he thought that I would shade anybody that he might have thought was lesser than. He would talk bad about other women's hair, other women's clothes. Oh, I know she didn't wear that to work, and I just felt so uncomfortable. When he realized that I wasn't interested in those types of conversations or down in another black woman, um, he started being aggressive towards me. Now, mind you, I think he was a black man, but I know for sure he was a homosexual black man. And he didn't like that I was the type of person to uplift my sisters, not to down my sisters. And I wasn't interested in the gossiping. Um, so we took a little issue. That wasn't a good fit, but it was, and he was only hiring he didn't hire any males. He only hired black females so that he can degrade them. And I thought it was very interesting. And so that's one time I dealt with gender bias when it came to the workplace. And another time when I came into the workplace, even if I smiled or I said good morning, and I usually got this with white women, but even if I smiled or said good morning, it was like, oh, why do you have an attitude? I'm like, I'm smiling and saying good morning. Where does the attitude come in at? They people tend to use words like, oh, you're aggressive when it comes to black women. And even our own people say things like that. And when we tend to say words like aggressive or argumentative or what's the word, confrontational to describe a black woman, it is an implicit bias. Okay, so moving forward, I do want to play a video for you guys. I'm still waiting for the girls to come in. I don't know if they're coming or not. Okay, let me stop sharing this. Do want to share. I do want to share this video here. Let me see, window. All right, cancel that. I really wish I could play my music, y'all. That's really irritating me right now. But I'll fix this sooner or later. But right now, I just gotta get on with the get on. I know y'all probably want to talk about relationships and stuff, but relationships can go either way. Work relationships, love relationships, intimate relationships, family relationships. So today we are talking about relationships, but we're talking about relationships in the workplace. Okay. This video I want to play about things that we experience in the workplace. Give me 1 second, because I got to keep shuffling from.
Hey everybody, welcome to our first diversity and inclusion meeting.
Give me a second.
Hey. I'm so excited.
Okay, give me a second, y'all, because
I think that people of color and Black people have a space.
And some people who are lighter colored as well
Katie,
are here.
Katie.
Yeah.
Katie,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Excuse me, Katie, can you let me know why you're in this meeting?
Well, I'm half Italian, half Maltese, so I'm definitely, I don't think I'm white Katie. Necessarily.
Katie, do you identify as a woman of color?
Well, I get pretty dark in the summertime.
give me a second, y'all, because I don't
meeting.
Okay,
well,
I can hear now.
half Italian, half Maltese.
Okay, you
so
guys.
I'm definitely.
I'm trying to fix all this technical difficulties. Lori, can you hear me? You can unmute
Yes.
your mic. Can you talk on
now.
your mic real quick so I can just check?
Yes, now I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Let's see here. Let me edit your mic settings. Automatically adjust mic. Okay, see if you could talk now, Lori.
Can you hear me now?
That's crazy. Are you talking? I hear you. You text. You can hear me? I wasn't talking at first. That's why. Can you talk so I can hear you?
I can hear you.
On the mic.
Talking. I am talking. I am talking. You can't hear me? Hello? Testing.
I'm still waiting. You are talking?
Yes.
Oh my God. I don't know if that's because of. Let me see. Let me see the audio here. Okay, so this is what you do. You right click on your mic and go to audio settings or go to settings. There should be a settings tab there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it should have you adjust it.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Wow, this is interesting. But you can hear me. Let me mute my mic and see.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Testing, testing. Muting didn't work.
On. Okay, let me move on because now I had Lori come in and I had Miyaka come in, and it seems like their mics is not working. I don't know if that has anything to do with my computer or whatnot, but I'm going to play another video while I'm trying to figure out why they're not able to talk.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, wrong one. Wrong video, wrong thing. Hold up. This is interesting because hold on. This is interesting. Lori, come back, go out and come back in and see what happens then. Okay, window. See, oh, Jesus. It's interesting because I'm trying to get this one video here and I don't know why it's not playing. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, here we go. So I want to play this here about Black
Supporters of this bill are saying that for decades, African Americans have been discriminated against for the style of their hair, the texture of their hair, and they've had to conform to what they call white beauty standards for jobs, for educational opportunities, having to wear wigs or chemically treat and damage their hair. And this really struck a chord with lawmakers on the House floor today, who some got emotional talking about their personal experiences. Listen to what Congresswoman Cori Bush had to say.
As a Black woman who loves my braids, I know what it's like to feel isolated because of how I wear my hair. This is the last time we say no more to Black people being demeaned and discriminated against for the same hairstyles that corporations profit from.
And Congresswoman Gwen Moore said she recalled an experience for applying for a job opportunity. She said that someone had told a previous employer that she was, quote, an embarrassment because of the way she wore her hair. Another Congresswoman, Bonnie Watson, who was the Congresswoman who actually introduced this bill, talked about her personal experiences. And she said it's just simple. Discrimination against Blacks based on their hair texture, their hairstyles, is discrimination against Blacks in general. And she said that that is why she's pushing for this bill to pass.
Can you hear me now?
Hey, Glory, can you try to do your mic again?
Yes.
I'm
Can you
finna
hear me
try
now?
on my phone to see if it's the phone that's doing that.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, well, let me try on my phone really quick. So when you first log on, it says allow your mic and your camera, right? And then I do stop cam. And I go enter studio. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you.
Okay. So it was your computer. You have to do it from your phone then, huh?
Oh, shit. I guess so. Well, I guess I'll just remove but if I remove myself, okay. So there, we got me and me. So I was wondering, like, what was going on here? So basically, you were talking, people probably were hearing you on the live, and I'm just over here tripping. So, did you get to watch the videos at least?
I did not. Sorry. No, I didn't.
Okay. Shoot, this live is already jacked up. I could replay them if you want.
Okay.
Okay, so
Were they 20 minutes worth? You been running for 24 minutes?
girl, I just been trying to. So basically, what I did was a countdown. Then I did my little intro. Here got my intro right here. Go ahead and get my golden book. As well, So I did that. Was you able to see that?
Yes, that's cute.
Okay. So then I shared my screen to and which is so difficult because I got two different browsers up. It's probably because I'm on this and I hate Microsoft Edge. So I prefer Google. So okay, so I had played this video, but I'm not gonna play that one. Let me see. Let me go back. Let me show you this video. This window. Oh God. Oh, it's like I gotta have Google up to do this. This thing be making things so difficult. Okay, so let me get you this video first.
Okay.
Um,
Oh wait, weren't you trying to add your other friend into the room?
yeah, Miyaka, let me see if she's still there. Hold on. That's crazy how it's
Or, well, I was gonna say maybe it's because I'm not on the computer, but that shouldn't affect it. You should be able to.
well with my computer and everything, it's like I'm using my equipment for my music. So maybe that's the reason. But I'm thinking maybe it could be the fact that I'm on this Microsoft Edge and I have Google browser connected to all of my things properly because I use Google mostly.
Or are you
So
able to edit this podcast and then repost it, like clean?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I can edit it, but I'm not, I like the rawness of it all. So I'm the type of person like, shit, you finna get all the nicks and the crannies and the BS that come along with doing this stuff. Wait, let me pause it.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna play this one video and then have you comment on it and see if anybody else is I'm okay, yeah. Okay, here go the video. Let me see here. This is weird because I have to keep jumping from screen to screen and I don't like that shit. Okay, press play. Can I press play here? Nope. Gotta jump from the screen to screen. Alright, here go the video. Oh, wait a minute.
You're gonna hate me because I can't hear the video.
No, you gotta hear it.
Lighter
Okay.
colored as well.
Let me start over.
Here.
I have to press. Can you hear now?
Yes.
Yay.
I'm so excited that people of color and Black people have a space.
And some people who are lighter colored as well are here. Yeah.
Is it like an echo?
Yes.
Okay, let me turn my mic off.
Well, I'm half Italian, half Maltese, so I'm definitely. I don't think I'm.
Or you want to send me the link for the video and then have me watch it? Because I can't hear anything now.
We're going to talk about this separately, okay?
So now can you hear it?
Yeah.
Wait a
I mean,
minute.
it's still not clean, but I'll make it out. Start it over.
Okay, this is what I'll do. I'll mute this. I will add my other self to the podcast. Hey, what are you doing, StreamYard? Add me
Okay,
back to the stream.
we're gonna have to practice this one so that we can get it good and working for Friday because I'm gonna have me a nice little cocktail on Friday.
Right, and I'm like,
not
I'm
gonna
just like
be
all over the place. Nobody's watching at this point.
good.
Okay, so look. Okay, so let me unmute my other self and mute this person.
Okay.
Wait. Hold up. Before I do that. Now, on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
can you see the video?
I can.
Okay, cool. So that's all I want to know. Okay, let me mute my phone. Person.
And start it over.
Okay, wait a minute. Mute your mic too. That's crazy. All right. Let's turn my mic off though. So here we go.
Hey everybody, welcome to our first diversity and inclusion meeting.
Yay.
I'm so excited that people of color and Black people have a space.
And some people who are lighter colored as well are here.
Katie.
Yeah.
Katie,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Excuse me, Katie, can you let me know why you're in this meeting?
Well, I'm half Italian, half Maltese, so I'm definitely, I don't think I'm white necessarily.
Katie, do you identify as a woman of color?
Well, I get pretty dark in the summertime, so that is, I'm like, what's a person of color exactly?
If you get pulled over by the police, Katie, are you a woman of color?
Well, I'm definitely crying. I know that.
You know what? Let me take a look at your application. Let's see what you put on your application, Katie.
Okay, do you have to do that right now in front of everyone?
Okay, I'm looking at your application right now, and it says white.
Well, why are you saying it like that?
Latino.
With so much breath.
I'd love to take this conversation offline.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna bring this up.
Time for you and I to talk about this separately, okay? But for now, I'm going to go ahead and exit you out of this meeting.
Well, this feels like discrimination. I'm gonna talk to the other HR partners.
All right, I'm gonna exit. We can talk about it at a later date. Let's do that tomorrow, okay?
Okay, this feels like racism, though.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye, Katie.
Bye.
Oh, child. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, but you have an echo, so now you could probably hang up your other person.
Okay. This doesn't make sense that I have to have two people. This ain't making sense. Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
All right. Okay. So what do you think about that?
It reminds me of when we were trying to explain that Black Lives Matter, and everyone that wasn't Black was saying, well, all lives matter. And I think they don't understand, and sometimes it's hard to even understand if you're not a person of color and you haven't gone through it. So a lot of people misunderstood and thought we were saying only Black Lives Matter, when in actuality we were saying we feel as if Black lives don't matter, and we're saying, hey, Black Lives Matter, but people were just taking it the wrong way. So I think that's a good comparison there, where the discussion was being Black at work and she wanted to feel included and it felt exclusive. And I guess she just wanted to be a part of it without understanding. And not to say that there aren't trials and tribulations in being white at work, but that just wasn't the topic of conversation. There's just different challenges. And in that particular meeting, the discussion was being Black at work. What do you have to say?
I mean, I never really dealt with that in particular. However, I don't think they get it. I don't think even Black men get it, because I tried to tell the guy I was dating how difficult it is. And you're not completely dark skinned, but you're darker than the rest of your siblings. Like, I'm just saying. So you have more European features than I do. That's just put it like that. No shade.
Really?
It's no shade. So, and I'm not comparing us, because you're still gonna have to deal with certain things on a microaggression level. But what I'm saying is that a person like me, who's like really dark, Afrocentric, wide nose and nostrils, big ass lips and stuff like that, unless I talk very docile, because I talk very stern, so my sternness and my directness is confused with aggression. And also, my look is not the look that you will put at the front desk. You feel me? So even though I have the education and the mind to do it, that's one reason. That's something that holds me back in certain things. And it doesn't help that I'm so pro-Black. So certain things I don't involve myself with, like, when they're in the office celebrating like Valentine's Day. You know how I feel about those holidays. I don't indulge. They call me crazy. They think I'm crazy because I don't indulge in those things. So, as far as a white woman trying to include herself in my blackness, I never really experienced that.
So I guess the first three things. The first thing is that I feel Black men do understand. I think it's Black men that have had to work in a corporate environment, maybe those that have not and have been in more industrial or warehouse settings, like not formal corporate America, let's say that. They definitely go through it just in a different way. And that's not to say that white women don't go through it, because as you know, white males are historically paid significantly more than white females. And then, you know, it goes down the line for Black females and Black men as well. So, the easiest thing I guess that I can say and just get out the way so I don't forget is, if you are in a completely Black office and you weren't celebrating holidays, that's a little bit out of the norm. Not to say there's anything wrong with that. So I think that that might be a stretch, but I get where you're going with it. Um, but here's the thing. I think it's about the friendly vibe that we are forced to put on our professional face. So, for example, when we're home, our whole talk is different. Like, girl, yeah, you know, we just like being ourselves, more laid back, throw in a couple, maybe several cuss words. It's very, very different. And so, what I like to call it is Huntington Beach Lori, because I went to high school in Huntington Beach, and you know, there's primarily white. And so, when I go to work, I do put on Huntington Beach Lori, and it's just expected. Like, that's what you have to do if you want to be taken seriously, basically, in corporate America. And I feel like that would be the case whether I was white, Black, Asian, or whatever. You don't put on your casual voice, you don't wear your casual clothes, you put on your professional face and your high pitched voice and your customer service voice, or what I like to call the Nordstrom way, like customers always right.
Not the Nordstrom way. Not to cut you off, but y'all, I just want to make sure that your mic is working and we can hear you. Can you say hi to us? Unmute your mic.
All right. Hey.
Hey.
There you go. I don't know what's going on. Like, this is so freaking crazy. Like, I want to like delete the whole stream and start
Well, just
over
edit
again.
it. You can. You
I
just
can
have to.
edit it on YouTube, but it's not a promise that I can edit it on Facebook. I mean, I could take it off
Oh.
of Facebook and repost it, but for what? You know?
So can you take it off Facebook, edit it, and then repost the clean version?
I can do that, but it won't be live.
Oh.
But anyways, okay. So
So
did you
yes, so my boss made me read this book called The Nordstrom Way, because as you know, I work in HR. And so it is my job to be, I guess, what some people will call fake. I get paid to be fake. Always smiling, always thinking positive, always catering, always there to serve, right? And so I think that no matter your race, you're going to have to go through that. That's one aspect. But obviously, there are other trials and tribulations that I have to go through being a Black woman. I am very, very, very much aware of when I get upset or I get frustrated. I feel, so I'm not going to say it's facts, but I feel like those who are not Black are looking at me as the angry Black woman. Like, I've been in corporate America many, many times where a white woman will get frustrated and upset and angry, and people are just like, oh, this job is so frustrating, or she's really working hard, she's feeling overwhelmed, or she's close to being burnt out. But when I get frustrated or upset, um, the words and the phrases are, she seems very angry. So I'm very, very, very much aware of that, especially me being the type of person I am. You know, I can't hide my emotions. Like, how I feel is all on my face and in my tone, because I'm always this like happy, chipper person. So when I'm not that way, then it's very, very much apparent. And that is something that I'm always, always aware of in corporate America, to like try to not show my anger or frustration so I won't be pigeonholed in that angry Black woman vibe.
Right. Be aggressive. That's
Yes, being
what I get a
aggressive.
lot. If you speak your mind as a Black woman in the corporate workplace, you are aggressive.
Yes. Which I like to say assertive. Like, I'm assertive.
No,
But
that's what they call you. That's what they
right,
feel like you're aggressive. You can't even say how you feel, or it's a problem.
right. So
They
it's like
feel they
two.
perceive you as being aggressive. Just
Yes,
period. They already have that notion in their mind that you're aggressive just because you're a black woman. So whenever you speak anything other than go against anything other than what they're saying, you're aggressive. And you can be speaking in the same tone I'm speaking in right now. It doesn't matter. Just, I don't know. They're just, I notice a lot when I'm at work, other races, they seem to be just afraid of me for absolutely no reason. Even if they, until they get to know me, but straight off top, because I'm a black woman, they automatically assume I'm aggressive, that I might curse them out, or I might, do some crazy stuff that I'm not going to do, but that's just their perception. So,
yeah, I could see how you would feel that way. I think that we oftentimes have more, like, I think, I hate to say it's a fact, so I'll just say I feel, in my opinion, is that every woman, male and female, everyone has to put on their professional face, attire, and voice at work. But I think that we, as Black women, have an additional layer that white women don't have to have. Now, white women, I feel like they have their own battle. Like, okay, I'm just as smart as a white man, I'm just as capable as a white man. And I feel like they too also have to try to make sure that they're perceived as assertive and not aggressive. Um, so I don't want to discredit the challenges that other races have to go through, and it's not just white women. I think all women have to have this challenge. Like, I'm just as smart and capable as men. But I do feel like there's just a different layer. So I'm not saying it's worse or better or more challenging. I think that I have an additional layer um, as a Black woman, and that I'm very, very, very much aware on a daily basis of um, making sure that my frustration and stress levels are kept at a minimum, so that so that that doesn't come out. So where I feel like most women, they can just show their frustration and just say this isn't right, or I'm upset, I'm feeling overwhelmed, or things like that. And I think that our tone amongst each other, like the way that we speak to each other on a daily basis, isn't as uh, I can't even think of the word. It's not passive aggressive, but um, maybe we are more assertive. I don't know, our tones. Let's just say you and I, when we speak to each other, when the three of us speak, our tones are understood. I think that's the best way. Our tones are understood, and it's not taken um, the wrong way. Like, I know when Mika's upset, like, and I know when she's just talking with passion. That's the word. We're very passionate. Our tones are very passionate, and
exactly.
oftentimes can be felt as angry or aggressive, but really we're just passionate in our tone. And I feel like sometimes other races don't know the difference between passionate about a topic and it's being heard in my tone versus being very, very angry and reason to be feared, if that makes sense.
And that makes a lot of sense. And I believe that's what it is. It's just the tone, it's the lingo, and they don't understand. So automatically it's aggression to them. I do feel like we have it a lot. I mean, I don't want to, I'm not racist or anything like that, but I do feel like a white woman having to worry about being as smart as a white man is something totally different than what we go through. That's like easy peasy to what we have to go through for absolutely no reason. We have to have our feelings hurt. We have to be looked down upon. We have to be stereotyped from in every angle of that's coming at us. So no, I feel like that's a lot different. That's something minor compared to what we have to face on a daily basis as black women.
Um, I agree that it's different, but I don't want to discredit anyone and say that it's minor because think about it. If all of us worked in an all black firm, right, and all of the partners were males, black males, and they were making significantly more money than us, that would be very, very stressful. And that's the world they live in. They're not black. They don't know what it feels like to be black, and that's their stress. You know what I mean? Like I would never compare my stress levels to someone else, so I'm not going to say I go through more. I just feel like I go through something way different than what they go through. Um, and they will never know. I think that's the most accurate way I can explain it is they would never know what I go through. And I couldn't imagine being at a all black firm where all the black men were making significantly more money than me, but I felt like I was smarter than them, more capable than them, but not being justly paid, right? Justly compensated for my talents. That would really, really take a toll on me. Um, and so, but now we're thrown into this big pot where I've been fortunate enough to work at companies where there's been an all black staff. I worked at one where it was primarily all white. That was very frustrating. And then I've worked at companies where it's pretty diverse. And I have an example. Oh, I have a perfect example. So at one company I worked for at one time, the the board was very, very diverse. There were Asians, black people, whites, obviously, Indian, Hispanic. There were the board was extremely diverse, and one white woman came up to me and goes, "Don't you think the board could use a little bit of diversity?" And I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. I was like, "Lady, it's a black man. It's a I named all the races on the board," and she was like, "Yeah, but it's only two women." And to me, the world that I live in, I was just so happy to see color. It didn't dawn on me that the majority of the board was male, because I'm not used to seeing color, like diversity. And so they have their own little challenge and their own little struggle in their own little world, right? That's important. Like she was really, really irritated and bothered by that, where I was just happy to see color. So I don't know. I just don't like to compare my struggles to other people's struggles, but I feel like we just have different layers.
Yes, I do. Hello? Can you guys
Yeah, we can hear you.
hear? I understand. I don't necessarily say it's I'm comparing. I don't feel like it's comparing. I really feel like it's true. Like to be worried about if you
You
have.
got low for a second.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
I said I feel. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't necessarily feel like it's comparing. I feel like it's true for someone to worry about if there's more males than females. That's something that you create in your own mind. That's something that you don't have to be worried about that. But what a black woman goes through, it's not, we don't make it up. It's there, it's put upon us. So that's the difference.
Well, she didn't make it up. It was true. It was all males. It was like 10 males and like two women. So that's her reality. That was like the truth. And to her that was unfair. And if you think about it, that's a 2%. 2% of the team was less than 2% actually. So that is her reality and it's not made up for her.
It might not be made up for her, but it's just nothing. Who cares about that? Like, what is that compared to what we have to go through? Like, for you to be upset about it being more males than
Talk up Miyaka a little bit, please.
someone to be upset because there's more males than there's more men than women. Okay, that's one thing. You can easily bring more women, solve the problem. But for
How how can you bring more women if you're not a decision maker and you don't have the authority to do so? That's where her frustration was coming from because she has absolutely positively nothing to do with the selection of the board.
I want to just switch it up a little bit, DJ it up, like C was saying. I do want to share this other video so you guys could watch. Let me make sure I got the video. Let me just start it over from the beginning because it was on some dang on. Hold on, y'all, because it was on some. It was on the. Go ahead, keep talking. I'll let you know when I'm ready. Because it's on
But
some.
yeah, because I know what she's saying. I know what she means to me. Like, if, like, in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm just happy it's diversified. Like, because that's our struggle. So I understand 100% what you're saying. Like, dang, color is usually never represented. So that's, like, to me, more important than the males or the females. But because she's never been Black, she's never been a person of color, she could never relate or understand how important it was to me that it was diversified. In her struggle, and her reality was that, why are there always men dominating my industry?
And I can understand that, right? But you say when she walks into a room, although it may be predominantly male, she's still who she is. She doesn't. No one's looking at her crazy. No one's downing her from the beginning. As soon as she walks in the room,
We
looking
could
at.
barely hear you, Miak. I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
it sounds like your phone's in your sock.
I don't know why. Can
Oh,
you hear
that's
me now?
perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
We hear you now.
Okay. So I'm saying if she walks into a room full of males,
Hmm.
she may not like the fact that there's all males on the board, but she is not, she shouldn't be uncomfortable. No one's sexually harassing her. No one's harassing her in any way. No one's looking down on her. No one's stereotyping her. So I can understand her. It's she doesn't want it. It's something that she doesn't want. That's okay, but it's not. It doesn't. It shouldn't make her feel uncomfortable in a way that we have to feel uncomfortable for absolutely no reason at all. To me, it's just
So,
no comparison.
Okay,
You
you guys,
you
let me
feel
play
like
this other video real quick. Um, I just want to let me just play this and let me get you guys' opinion on this next video. Give me 1 second. Tabs. All right. Okay, give me 1 second. Cause I gotta go. StreamYard completely changed because now I have to add to stream and all this old craziness, and this is really irritating me. Okay, so listen to this video here. Oh wait a minute, wait. Give me a second. I have to unmute myself again. No, it should be able to play without me muting it. Let me see if you guys can hear this first. Unmute.
Saying that for decades, African Americans have been discriminated against for the style of their hair, the texture of their hair, and they've had to conform to what they call white beauty standards for jobs, for educational opportunities, having to wear wigs or chemically treat and damage their hair. And this really struck a chord with lawmakers on the House floor today, who some got emotional talking about their personal experiences. Listen to what Congresswoman Cori Bush had to say.
As a Black woman who loves my braids, I know what it's like to feel isolated because of how I wear my hair. This is the last time we say no more to Black people being demeaned and discriminated against for the same hairstyles that corporations profit from.
And Congresswoman Gwen Moore said she recalled an experience for applying for a job opportunity. She said that someone had told a previous employer that she was, quote, an embarrassment because of the way she wore her hair. Another Congresswoman, Bonnie Watson, who was the Congresswoman who actually introduced this bill, talked about her personal experiences. And she said it's just simple. Discrimination against Blacks based on their hair texture, their hairstyles, is discrimination against Blacks in general. And she said that that is why she's pushing for this bill to pass.
Okay, hello.
mm-hmm.
Was y'all able to hear that? Because it was a lot of echoing. I
no,
could.
I heard it
Yep,
clear.
I heard it too.
Okay, let me. I'm a bit irritated by this.
I heard it, and I agree with that 100%. Um, I'm one of the ones that assimilate. So anytime I go in for an interview, I always make sure I straighten out my hair and bring in Huntington Beach Lori, because I feel self-conscious. No one has ever specifically said anything to me verbally about my curly hair, and being all wild, without, straightening it out. But I feel self-conscious about it. And I know, even for my son, and I know it's sad to say, but I mean, it's the truth. Like, I've been seeing all these little articles of these poor kids that are having to take their braids out for sports or cut their hair off because, they're saying that it looks unclean, or trying to say that it's unprofessional to have, certain hairstyles that are known to be ethnic hairstyles. I think that's completely and 100% wrong. Um, Unfortunately, I assimilate because I want to make good money. And I told my son he was going to interview for a role, and he has the big, huge, afro with the crazy looking hair, which I never been a fan of anyway. All the kids these days, that's the style or whatever. But so I allow him to do his thing. But I told him, I says, if you're applying for a job in corporate America, if I were you, I would cut your hair and get a nice little bowl cut just for the interview. And then after you get the job, do your thing, because you'll look less intimidating. And I know that for a fact that, oftentimes Black men are looked upon as intimidating if they don't have that, like, Nickelodeon or Disney vibe, unfortunately. So I assimilate because I want to make good money. And I gave the tips to my son to follow so that he can get his foot in the door, and let his intellect and his intelligence and his skill set keep him in the door without people worrying about what his hair looks like. But I think that is bullshit that we have to do that.
Okay, let me tell my story. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I was working at Best Buy part time. I had my full time job, but I took on a part time job. That's when I celebrated Christmas at the time for Christmas, and I was working at Geek Squad inside the precinct. So there was this dress code where we could wear our hair, in its natural state, but it we also had to wear, we couldn't wear like exaggerated colors and stuff like that, right? That was the specific. So,
Mm-hmm.
we couldn't dye our hair blue, and wear no punk rocker, nothing like that. So a lot of the women that worked there, they would wear their hair down. It was straight, flowy, because they were Latina or white or whatever. And so one day I came to work it was the day after a wash day, because I was getting my hair done later that day, and my hair was an afro. So I was in the break room eating, waiting for my shift to start, eating my little breakfast or whatever. And my supervisor came up to me and was like, "What's going on with your hair?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What's going on with my hair?" He's like, "Oh, it's a little extreme."
No.
I said, "Extreme?" So the general manager there, he heard him and had to pull him to the side, and like, yeah. But this same supervisor, I don't know. We were in the back of the precinct before, and I never repeated this to anybody else. I just wanted the job and just move on. But him and this other, like, because he was Latino and it was another Latino girl, and they both said the N word in front of me as well.
Mm-mm.
So I
Yeah,
knew
sorry.
that they were racist. I just knew it. But this was prior to him saying something about my hair. And I think that I didn't stay there long after that, but that was my experience. Like, he was really on my hair because it was an afro, and I'm like, well, this is the natural state of my hair,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
Yep. I don't think it's right.
Well,
Um,
luckily, I personally have never had to deal with anything pertaining to my hair. I just wear my hair in a ponytail or braids, or sometimes the weave or whatever. But me being in the medical field, they don't really too much strip off. As long as your hair is kept, of course, you don't want to come to work like you just woke up out the bed, didn't brush your hair or anything like that. But being a nurse, they don't really trip off of how your hair is, or as long as you don't have extremely long fingernails and infection control is in play, and you keep your hair up off the patients, you are fine. So I have never experienced. any discrimination about my hair in the workplace. I do think it's a bunch of bullshit
Yeah.
because we should be able to wear our hair however we want to wear our hair as long as it's kept to us. As long as you just didn't roll out the bed and everyone can tell you just rolled out the bed. If you have an afro, if you have braids, if you want to have, because an afro is our natural state. So we should not have to straighten our curls or straighten our hair or do any of that to please anyone.
Hmm.
As
Yep.
long as we're professional, we do the job and don't disrespect anyone, our hair should be a personal preference.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Uh,
agree.
another thing that happened to me. This don't got nothing to do with hair, but I was working with DCFS, right? And so we had to take turns with passing out the mail every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one day it was my turn to pass out the mail. So I got all the mail as it came in, passed it out, right? So when it was time for me to clock out, I went to go check to see if there was any mail to pass out before I left, right? Outside of my regular work. That wasn't my job. That was just something that we had to do collectively because we didn't have a mail person at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, went to check before I left. Wasn't no mail. My time to check out, right? So any mail that comes after that, it goes to the person that's going to pass up the mail the next day. So I'm at work early in the morning, and this Asian woman, because I worked with a lot of Asians, she just plops a whole bunch of mail on my desk. Plop. Tamika, you forgot to take the mail. I said, no, ma'am. I checked the mail. I passed out the mail. I logged in all the mail. As you can see, I did the job already. This is your mail. No, it's not my mail. You need to take the mail. Like I didn't do my job. So I said, no, this is your mail. You gonna take your mail and you gonna pass it out. You know, and it became a big issue. Now, had she said, Tamika, I'm swamped today. Is it okay if you can help me pass out this mail? I'd have been like, no problem. But what you're not gonna do is slam some shit on my desk and make it seem like I'm your slave. Because to me, that was you telling me I was your slave.
Right to me. No, okay. I was with you. I think I don't think that's what she meant by you think that's what she meant by it.
Yes, she know. Yes,
She done went all the way to slavery on the man.
Right. Yes, she did. Okay.
yes. Cause she slammed it on my desk like you're a nigger. You're a nigger in the office. Take this gun. You know all the like all it was nothing but it was mostly Asians and white people there. Like I was literally the only black person in my department, but it was probably like a maybe one or two other black people in another department, right? And
Oh
at that
my.
time, I worked in payroll. So no, I'm not a docile person. No, I'm not finna. I already have to get y'all caught up from the bullshit y'all was slipping on in the first place. I was working in the department by myself, doing the job of 5 people by myself.
Let me just say this about that. I don't
Thank you.
think that it personal. You know how sometimes you can be at jobs, and well, I just had it happen to me today, honestly, because I work registry, so I go to different hospitals all the time. So I don't. When I come, they don't know me. They don't know me. They don't know how much experience I have. They don't. Sometimes you may get a registry nurse that doesn't really have experience.
Uh oh.
Oh
Hello,
man.
Miyaka.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now we can.
Okay. You may get a lot of times you get registry nurses that they just became nurses, they don't know what they're doing. So most of the time when I go to places, I have other nurses like, "Oh, do this, do that," like trying to belittle me because they don't know me. They don't know how much experience I have. They don't know that I know that you're not my supervisor. So you'll have the CNA coming up to you saying like, you need to do this, you need to do that, and then you have to let her know like, first of all, who are you? Second of all, I'm not doing anything, but I don't think it has anything to do with the race. I just think
Right.
when sometimes when you go to jobs, people are going to test you, to
Mm-hmm.
see if they can play you and have you to do this and do that, because if they don't think you know any better, you'll do it.
Right. Yep. That part.
But I don't
The
think it
strong
has
That was
always
nothing to do
praise
with
the
race.
weak.
that
This
wasn't a situation because at that point I was already there for like 6 months. Okay,
No,
so
we're not saying that they didn't know your role. She was just using an example in the registry of how someone tried to
yeah,
assert
I get
assert
that,
authority over her that
but
that
but
had
that
no
person,
authority.
and I did want to talk about that, but they had nothing to do with racism. But that's one of them people that's your coworker that think they the motherfucking boss. Girl,
Yeah.
you don't
no, I will tell
tell
you
them.
something
I think
about.
every organization has one of those. Someone who has a false sense of authority.
Right.
Right, like who are you? Like where you
It just
come
happened to
from?
me today, girl. I'm like, wait a minute, girl. Who are you?
You need to do this. No, you need to go do what you supposed to be
That's what she
doing.
said. She told me you need to make sure they do this and that. I said, girl, I'm not doing anything. I'm going over here and do this. And if you have the big enough problem with it, you can go and do that because I'm not doing it. But I don't think it was because of my race. I
Right.
think it was because I was new, and well, I'm new here, and she's gonna try me if she can.
I think it was because of race, and this is why I say that. Oh shit, what fell? How the job ended for me. Um, so then after that, right? I'm the only person. Okay, so my supervisor that hired me, she promoted, and then the girl that trained me that was in the same department, she promoted. So everybody promoted, leaving me there. And they were supposed to hire me plus four more people. It was just me doing the work of my supervisor and the girl that trained me and everything. I didn't work with nobody else. I'm in this department by myself, doing the job and got them caught up on everything, right? Did the job wonderfully. So it was like it's this system where once because I was in payroll, so I had to issue out payments to people and reimburse them for their travel time. And I also had to make the checks for all the people in the DCFS district. So I was doing that and everything. So they hired this white girl, right? So every time I logged something in, I had to get it approved from my supervisor that hired me. She was supposed to approve it, but she was no longer there. So her supervisor had to approve it, who I never worked with a day in my life, right? And at this time, we're going through COVID, so we're working from home, right? So uh, the lady, I had all this stuff in the queue for her to approve. All she had to do was approve it, right? Instead of her approving it, she had the white girl come in and redo everything that I did as if she was doing the work. And so when I caught that, I asked her, I said, well, why are you, and I was she didn't know that I knew as much as I did. And I'm screenshotting everything like, why is this happening? Why are you giving her double work?
Mhm.
Because there is so much more work that can be done. Why is she redoing everything that I've already done? It doesn't make sense. And so
Uh,
instead of her approving my work, which was no errors in it, same exact stuff, it was no errors or anything. I could see if there was errors, like and if there were errors, it was up to my supervisor to come to me and let me know that look to me because there's an error right here. But
Oh
she
well,
never.
I will tell you. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
So when I noticed that, I'm like, oh, they didn't know I could look this up and see the work that's being done.
mhm.
Because I knew ECAP. It's a system called ECAPS in the county system. See, I don't work everywhere in the county, so I know ECAPS like the back of my hand. So
Let me
um,
say this one thing about what I feel about I'm not saying about your situation because it very well could have been racist. The lady could have been racist. It could have been racism. But what I do notice about see this why we might need to take this off a line because
Yes, yes,
I'm
why?
yes.
yeah, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. What I do notice about a lot of black people is they always think people are being racist towards them, and all the time people are not being racist. A lot of times people are being racist, but I just don't like, I can't stand that everything that happens, the type of person that everything that happens to them is due to racism. Everything is not due to racism all the time.
Well, what
And
does it do
speaking
to?
from
But
a perspective of a supervisor and a manager, I'm not
mm,
going to go behind somebody all the time and telling them you did this wrong, you did this wrong. I'm either going to fix it or have another one of my staff members fix it for me, because the time it would take me to teach you how to do it right, I could have been done it already. And then I work on
right,
your replacement. So,
right. But if it's nothing wrong, then it's nothing
but
wrong.
how do you know it was nothing wrong?
Because I know what it was nothing wrong because I knew how to do the job, and that particular supervisor did not know how to do the job at all. They were in a whole different department.
So then
So
that means she didn't know how to do the job, not that she was racist. She just didn't know what she was doing.
the problem was that the my supervisor and the person that trained me, those were the only two that was privy on how to manage that particular part of mileage, right? So it was certain things that needed to be done. And then this is how I know it was no errors, because if you compared the work that I did and the work that she did it the exact same way that I did it. It was no errors. So it was like, and I did show that, like, what is really going on. Like, it's more work that need to be done, and you're approving the work that I've already done, but you're approving her work. And then so even before I left, my supervisor, remember I told you about the thing about the desk when the girl dropped the mail on the desk.
Mhm.
Okay, my supervisor, she said, "Okay, Tamika, they're trying to figure out a way to get rid of you." She said, "You need to watch your back." She called the union clerk, and she said that she felt like they were racist. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it ended up being a racist situation, because I never worked with these people a day in my life,
Right.
you know, and I never seen, I probably seen them once or twice, in person, but just like working with them in person, no, I never did. Everything was on through email. And so one of the things that happened that was a problem, like when we got emails, right? When we got emails, my supervisor would split the emails up and put them into my email box, right? So that it wouldn't be double work. So so now that she's gone, there's just this whole bunch of emails, and then so I'm taking my emails and put, because she doesn't know, the other supervisor doesn't know, so I'm just taking the emails and put them in my inbox, answering the emails and doing what I have to do with the emails. Same thing. She's having the girl doing the same emails I'm doing. I'm like, okay, this is her trying to give this girl the credit for my work instead of, letting her do her own work and having her own credit.
So what I would have done in that instance is I would have sent an email and saying, "Hey, I'm noticing that we're duplicating efforts.
I
Is
did
there a
that.
group that you want me to work on?" But I'm not sure you would have said it that way. So
I
like
did
for
say it that
example, like
way.
if someone on my team is making errors, I'm gonna give you training and resources to be able to do your job, right? And if I notice that they're making errors in the beginning, I will come to them and say, "Hey, I caught this," and try to help them and explain to them and hopefully teach them how to do it correctly. But after like maybe 2 3 months on the job and they're still making consistent errors and they're not like understanding it, then at that time that's when it is easier for me to do it myself or pass the work on to somebody else. So when
Right.
you notice that the other girl was submitting the same work and there were no variances, I would have said the same thing. I was like, "Hey, I noticed that so and
I
so."
did do that. I did do that. My
And so what
writing
did they
skills,
say? What did they say? Why did they say the reason why the efforts were being duplicated?
Just pure ignorance. They didn't know. So I
So
was
then
like,
they
okay.
didn't know that she was
Okay,
doing
so
the
they
same
didn't know.
thing.
So they didn't know. Okay, fine. So now they
So
split
then
it up.
did you create a process, or did you ask your supervisors, like, well, can we create a system to make sure that
No,
we're
no,
not
no, no.
duplicating efforts?
I did not create a system because there was already a system. So I told the
No, I
super.
mean, and when you went to them, right?
Listen,
You,
listen.
oh, okay.
I did not create a system because there was already a system, and I let her know what the system was.
Oh, you
When
let
they
your supervisor know what the system was, right? I'm gonna tell you right
No,
there. That's
my original you missing the story. My original supervisor, she promoted, she left. She taught me the system.
Mm-hmm.
right. But you have a new supervisor now, and your
No,
new
no.
supervisor.
My supervisor, they did not replace her. They just sent,
But you had to report to somebody. You wasn't reporting to
right.
yourself.
You're not listening. Active listening is very important. Okay. Her- my supervisor, she, she, she promoted. Her supervisor didn't know anything about mileage. I was working
Mm-hmm.
in mileage. Okay. There was already a system. So um I was working under that system
Mm-hmm.
until she hired the other girl who was not in mileage. She was in accounting. The other girl wasn't even in mileage. She was in accounting, and her supervisor was in accounting. So,
Mm-hmm.
her supervisor, it was like I was under like because after my supervisor left, I was going in between two other supervisors that wasn't part of mileage until they replaced her. So I was going back and I was between two other women. So when I discussed this, I said, okay, the work is being duplicated.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way, I said, there's a way that we do it. And this is the way that I'm not going to say her name, that my supervisor taught me. I let her know this is how Francine taught. I said her name. This is how she taught me. This, sorry, this is how she taught me. So, so this is how it's supposed to go,
Oh,
right?
oh, stop you right there. I hate to interject, but
What?
you said this is how it's supposed to go to your supervisor. I'm gonna tell you, Tamika. My mama
That's
told me
I
growing
am
up.
paraphrasing. Don't do that. I am fucking paraphrasing. I'm
What?
talking to you. I'm talking to you comfortably as my friend. Don't do that,
Oh,
Lori. I
okay.
don't
I thought
talk
that's
like
what you
that when I'm
told
at
her.
work.
I thought you
Huh?
told her that. I thought that's what you told her. This is how we
No,
supposed
when
to
I
do it.
write things, I write things. I know how to write. I'm a writer by nature. I know how to write. I know how to use English. I know perfect English. But I'm paraphrasing. This is, just get with the program. I'm not writing her in no derogatory way.
No, but
God
that's what I'm
damn.
trying to tell you. Listen, whenever you have a change in supervisors, just listen now. You active listen. Whenever you have a change in supervisors, it is best practice to say, I realize we're duplicating efforts. Is there a system that you can recommend so that we don't continue to duplicate efforts, and let them come up with ideas? Because you, no matter how pretty you phrase it and say, this is how we used to do it, and this is what works for me, that usually
Let
won't
me
get the
tell
goal accomplished. If
you.
she's the manager, let her figure out how to
That's
stop duplicating efforts. You throw it back on her, and so she could say, okay, well, I'm going to divvy this up and divvy that up. Let her set the process to make sure that doesn't happen again. When you try to tell her how it was done before or how it should be
Well, here's the
done.
thing. This is the reason why I felt like I could tell her because she kept asking me questions on how shit should be done. She was coming to me asking me, like, okay, do you know how Francine used to do this? Do you know how I keep saying the girl name? I'm so sorry. Do you know how they used to do this when it came to my job? So she didn't know. That's what led me to believe. That's how I know that she knew nothing about the process because she kept asking me, do you know this and do you know that?
Right.
So that's why I felt like, okay, since you're taking on this position, let me help you out. Okay. And I said, okay, let's I'm paraphrasing. Okay. This is
Okay.
not how I wrote it. I know how to
It could have
write an
been to me.
email.
Let me
Huh?
say this. To me, it could have been one of two things. One, she could have got intimidated by
Mm-hmm.
you telling her everything, and knowing everything and knowing more than what she's knowing, and she's the supervisor to the point where she wanted to get rid of you because she was intimidated, or two, which happens when I supervise a lot. And if I have people, if I have nurses, that old nurses that don't, if I come into a job and they hire me in a specific position and I have old nurses that don't want to get with the new program, I get rid of them
Mm-hmm.
first, because it's a new program. And if you can't get with it, or you want to keep telling me what used to happen or having your opinion about what I'm running, then you can go. I'll tell you,
I get
I'll
that.
I'll try to get you to get with it. If I see you one of those nurses that just want to do your
Resistant.
thing because you just older and you still don't want to chart, or you still don't want to do whatever the new protocol is, then yes, I'm going to be gunning to get rid of you.
I get that. And had she came to me and say, okay, listen, things are going to change around here. I'm paraphrasing again, but this is what's going to, this is how we're going to do it going forward. So Tamika, do this, do that. You know, these are the instructions that I need. But let's be clear, the same job, I wrote the whole training manual.
Yeah, but
So
that didn't matter when a new supervisor came.
Right.
no. I wrote when we first went on working from home. When I because I went from working from home before they mandated it and everything. So that was my project from those two ladies. I still got it on my desktop. I wrote. They said, okay, since you're working from home now, we want you to write the training manual. I said, okay. So I had to read the whole book on the procedures and everything, and I wrote the training manual for up and new DCFS workers. They were so ecstatic and proud of the manual. So I know they was taking that information for themselves because they knew nothing about the department that I was in. They even asked me to help them with it. So I knew that's what they wanted from me. Now, had they came to me and said, "Okay, I know you're here, and Francine is gone. I keep saying her name. She's gone. Um, we're gonna do things a little different from now on. Instead of doing it like this, we're gonna do it like that." I would have had no problem with that.
You know what? That is exactly. I mean, I don't like, sometimes I get overwhelmed with being a nurse because you take care of people so much that oftentimes you don't have time to take care of yourself. But that is the one thing I love about nursing. You only nurse one way.
Right.
Hello?
I
Yes.
hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Uh-oh, what happened? Can you
No, no,
guys hear
no. We
me?
hear
We
you.
can hear you.
Yes. Can you hear us? Uh-oh.
Hello?
Can you hear us? Hello.
Tamika.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me, Lori?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear her. She
Oh,
can't hear us.
she must she must gonna come back in, go out and come back in.
But it was definitely racism because they told me I was. I don't give a
I
fuck what you
can't with
say.
you. Yeah.
No, because if this is how I felt like that, I was just sitting in my cubicle, not even my cubicle, doing the work, not worried about nobody, waiting for this lady to approve my work, not worried about nobody, just doing the work. So when I noticed that work was being duplicated
Mm-hmm.
and everything, then I did it for them. I said, hey, I noticed that this is being duplicated. You know, we have a lot of work to do. Is there any discrepancies? Is there any mistakes? Is there any reason why? And I'm not, did not say it exactly like that. So don't do that, Lori. Is there any reason why the work is being duplicated? Okay. Oh, okay, Tamika, no problem. The work one, yeah, I see. Okay, my bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So bam. Um, moving forward, I felt like they only brought the white girl in to replace me in the first place. I don't think it necessarily had nothing to do with me, but I think it had everything to do with the supervisor that hired me, because they were gunning for her. So I was like, what do you call it?
Collateral
A
damage.
collateral damage, um, uh, casualty of war. But I know it was racism because the person that hired me, she was Latina. So the people that had the issue with me, they were white. So it was like they was already racist towards her, and the supervisor before me, she noticed that they had racism towards me. She told me, she said, they're trying to find any way to get rid of you.
Did she say they're trying to find any way to get rid of you because you're black?
Yes, she told the union worker that. She told them that. I didn't tell them that. She's the one, she was afraid of me losing my job. And so she came, she said, Tamika, I need to have a meeting with you ASAP. And because she thought I was a wonderful worker. She thought I was absolutely great, you know. And
Mm.
so she arranged the meeting with the union rep, and she started the meeting off, and she is the one that mentioned racism. I didn't even know it was an issue. And
Mm.
so so that's why I knew it was racism going forward, because they were doing little stuff. You get what I'm saying? Like if it wasn't, if it wasn't for the meeting, because we had that meeting like maybe 2 months prior to anything else. And when we had that meeting, then he was like, the union rep was just like, she's been accused of being racist before, so just just keep a low profile and whatnot.
Mm.
Because I never even worked with the lady at that time. I never even worked with the lady. I was only working. This is when my supervisor was still there, and I never even worked with the lady. I was just working closely with my supervisor at the time.
Mm.
So then once my supervisor left, around the time she left, that's when COVID hit. And then I had started working from home before they mandated, because of I had my stomach issue. So I had to start working from home early. So I never got a chance to work directly with those two women.
Mm. I
So
don't
for
know.
this, huh?
I said, I don't know. They probably, maybe they were. People do experience that a lot when you work like in the office setting or you work close to people. I don't know because I don't, as I was saying before my phone hung up, I don't deal with that because I just take care of patients and I don't even have to talk to anyone if I don't want to. So it's not too much racism. Of course, you got the certain cliques that click up but you don't have to even pay attention. Just take care of your patients and go home. But those office jobs and, in those corporate offices and dealing with people side by side or they are right next to you, you never know what you might run into because people are racist. And but in the field I'm in, it's hard for them to really show it because you don't really deal with the coworkers. You if you want to, you can, but you don't really have to.
I
So
don't. I try with me. I'm the type of person, I don't even want to click up with no one. I just want to get there, do the work, take my breaks where I'm supposed to take them, come back on time, finish working, and clock out. I
yeah,
don't
but
want
what
to
I'm
get.
saying in certain settings, like
That won't. Yeah.
working in an office or working at what did you say you worked at the DPSS? People, it's really personal because you have to talk to these people about certain
Mm-hmm.
things, and they're right next to you. Like
I don't
that.
have to talk to them about nothing. It's paperwork. So no, I don't have to talk to them about nothing. Only
You
I
person
don't
do
I
know.
though.
talk
You know,
to.
you can't
You
tell
do
Tamika
have to
nothing.
be.
No,
Yeah,
the fuck I don't. Now, when I was working at the park,
you
no, when I
do
was
have to talk to them
You
though.
no, I
so
don't.
wait. I
But
think what she
that
was trying to say. Let me help. Let me interject. I think what she was trying to say is that some jobs, some roles, some careers allow you to be independent, and you don't have to be a team player and work in a
Mhm.
team and intermingle, right? But when
Right.
you work In a corporate setting where you do need information from another department, you need a supervisor's approval on something, you need to make sure that your coworker isn't duplicating efforts, things of that nature. It involves
Yeah, I don't have
interaction.
to talk to them. I'll
No,
email
but you
them.
know what?
I will
No, and
email them.
also,
So here,
Go ahead.
no.
yeah, so
Look,
what
and then
one
you
thing you have
also
to build is relationships. I think that's the
right.
key. In a
Yes,
corporate
and you have to
environment, the
have your
relationship, yeah, the relationships you build can make or break you. You can get things put
right.
through. And one thing I have always learned in corporate America is don't piss off IT, don't piss off payroll. It's like
I
you
was
have to
working
get.
in payroll, so that's not the case. So you can't piss me off if I'm the
Well,
one that's
no,
doing
I'm just giving
payroll.
you example of
Uh,
how you have to build relationships. Like you
Right.
have to build relationships. And if you don't build good relationships, just like perfect example, like everybody thought Obama was about to push all these things, right? Because he's president, right? So everybody thought all these initiatives were going to get passed. But guess what? We did not freaking go to the polls, and they took over the Senate, they took over the House, and he couldn't get any of his agendas pushed because he didn't have any friends in the Senate and the House. It was majority Republican in Senate, majority Republican in the House. So if you, that's my analogy. If you don't build relationships at work, then it's hard getting things done. Did that make
Exactly.
sense?
Well, that's it makes perfect sense. You said it much better than I said it, and I feel that's what I mean. Like when you said I don't have to talk to them, but really you do. Like when you work
Yes.
in corporate America, you have to put your Becky on all day, every day when
bro,
you're
I
at work.
can't be Becky. I'm sorry. I
Yeah, well,
hate
you don't, you
Becky.
can't.
You
Well,
shouldn't
that's
be
why.
working in corporate America. That ain't the
Exactly, and
job for
that's why
you.
they would. That's
Nuh-uh.
why that would be one reason they would want to get rid of you.
Yep.
And that's
Because
and
I'm
it's
not a
sad to say.
Becky.
I got two words
Yeah.
for you, Tamika. Culture fit. Every time candidate
I
get
cannot.
rejected, it is
Listen,
she's
let
not
me
a
tell
culture
you.
fit.
They
She
invited
won't.
me out to lunch, right? This group of people.
Uh-oh.
They invited me out to lunch.
Mhm.
But it
Wait,
was for the
before you
girl.
tell us your story,
What?
what did you agree with what she and I just said right now? What did you take away from what we just tried to tell
You
you right
do have
now?
to build relationships, but I know, I mean, you have to build relationships, but it's certain relationships I feel like I don't feel like I should have to build relationships with people that's not in my department. Like, you know what I
It's
mean?
not that you have to build a relationship with
Especially
people
if I
that
don't have to
you
work with them.
but
So
you do though. You don't have to build a relationship, but you have to hold up a certain image. You can't just because the people are not in your department don't mean you can walk past them and not speak. Like
I
me, although
always,
I
but
don't
let's be
speak.
clear. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. I always speak. I'm not the type of person that's just gonna walk by anybody,
No, I'm
even
not
if they're on
speaking
the street.
on
I
you.
will greet a person. I'm
Right.
not that type of person.
I
I
right.
am a business person, so I
Right.
know how to say good morning. How you
Right.
doing this morning? And it's people that used to come to my desk and talk to me all the time, and I would just listen and be like, oh, that's so sad. But I
Uh-huh.
wasn't interested in those
Uh-huh.
kind of relationships. I was just interested in doing the work. That's just me personally. But
Uh-huh.
whenever somebody came to my cubicle to talk to me or whatever, I would talk to them and I would engage them. However, I was not there for that. I was there to get the job done. Now,
Right.
so my thing is, if you're gonna hire me and you're hiring somebody that's sufficient and ready to work, I'm the one to hire. But if you want to hire me because you want to go a best friend and somebody to go clubbing with, I am not her.
No,
I don't
not a
think that's
best
what we
friend,
said at
someone to
all.
go clubbing
But
with.
so
That
let me
is
go.
not what we said at
Well,
all.
let me go. Let me tell you. I got two stories for y'all, but let me tell you
Oh
this.
hell no! You going all the way to the right now, or
No,
to
I
the
got two
left? I
stories.
can't figure out which side you on, but you're on the very end of the spectrum right now.
I'm on the end of the what spectrum?
The spectrum of A, staying on topic, B,
No,
understanding what
no,
we're
this is
trying
on.
to
I
say.
understand what y'all saying, and that's not the case. So I'm telling y'all that's not the case. So let's move on. It's not the case that I didn't say hi. It's
No,
not the
no, no,
case.
no,
That's
no.
not what
We're
she
not speaking.
said.
I'm not
That's
speaking
not
Okay,
what she
about
said
you.
at
it's not
all.
the case that I wasn't polite. It's not the case that I
No,
wasn't
no, no, no.
cordial, and it's not the. And I understand that everybody that you work with, you do have to build relationships with, and
Right.
a business relationship. I get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
I like if I don't like if my work don't cross their desk, which it didn't cross their desk until my supervisor left. If
Mm-hmm.
my work don't cross their desk, then no, I did not develop relationships. I worked at places like when I worked for Lawa. When I worked for Lawa, I had to deal with a lot of people. I had to deal with internal affairs. I had to deal with the chief. I had to deal with the police department. I had to deal with a lot of people. So I developed great relationships with those people. However, because I developed those great relationships with all those people, guess what? My supervisor was jealous of those relationships. So I can't fucking win for losing.
Yeah, that probably was it.
So like, okay, I try to go back in time and think about things, right? Like, okay, what did I do wrong? Because when it was so crazy because the when I was at Lawa, every time I walk in the morning, I say, "Good morning, everybody," and everybody be at that cubicle. They be like, "Good morning, Tamika," all at the same time in unison, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I would leave,
Tamika, we need to get off live though.
why?
Yes, this is
Why?
like a
This
conversation
is
that
a
we would
three-way
have.
conversation.
Yes,
Yes,
So
this
what?
is not a
Anyway,
podcast.
yes,
so
we need
We
to
are
get
just
off.
shooting the shit right now. Real
yeah, we
talk.
shoot the shit. Fuck
That
it.
is it.
Somebody might people. You never know what people might be engaged in. So when I left, when I left, so when I would leave,
Oh
You know she
God.
gonna tell her story. She is not gonna let us
no, let me tell a story. So when I would leave
with our
every
story.
evening, I would say good night, everybody, and everybody be like, good night, Tamika, right?
Oh Lord.
So the supervisor, I hate y'all. So, I'm gonna
Oh
stop there.
Lord
Fuck y'all.
Jesus.
No, but I'm just saying, I can shoot the shit. No,
Right.
I can
Because
shoot
at
the
this
shit,
point,
but
we just talking, like we just talking on the phone to each other. Like we're
yeah,
not
Yeah,
really
that's
like.
good. But
yes,
see,
yes.
that's wonderful, you guys. That's so great because this is how I want it to be.
Oh
This
my
is exact.
God.
It's like great chemistry. You know what I
Oh
mean?
Lord.
Oh
As
So
long
God.
like,
as you know, my friend.
yeah, it don't always have to be some old
And,
technical.
and as long as you know, this is not a podcast.
this is we're
This is
sitting
us having
around
a
on the
conversation.
phone shooting the shit, and it just happened to get recorded. We went 100% off topic like 45 minutes
No, we're
ago.
still talking about
We've
jobs.
been off topic. We never
No,
were on topic.
actually,
What is the
actually, we're
topic?
on topic because we're like, wait. Okay, let me bring y'all back. Let me bring y'all back. Okay, let me bring y'all back. But I want to tell y'all my story about
Oh shit.
Oh
my
my God, I wanted
relationship.
to hear your story, but I'm like, come on, we got to get off live. Why
No,
we
I
Yes.
on
don't
live?
care. Because you know what?
Why are we here?
Let me tell you something, Miyako, for real. I have, the Most High God, yeah,
Yeah,
He has been putting me in positions where I have to fight, right? And
right,
I be trying to avoid conflict, and he like, you got to fight for this. You got to, because I could have fought for these jobs, I could have fought for it, and I could have did something about it, but it was just like I didn't want to fight, and so
right,
I chose not to do anything. And
right.
so I feel like, man, I regret that I didn't fight because even with the supervisor that took over my supervisor's position, her supervisor, she was actually really, really white, but she felt I'm talking about pale
She was
white.
whiter than the rest of them.
Well, because the
Oh
other one was
Lord.
like a type of Asian white, like an Asian white, like
Oh Lord, I cannot make this up.
so so anyway, so anyway, she she felt conflicted. She felt conflicted. She was pressed. She called me because they called me in the day before my probation ended and to tell me that I no longer had a job. Right.
Uh-huh.
So she felt conflicted and she called me at home and told me you need to appeal this decision. And she was the head supervisor. And I said, you know what? I did what I came to do. I really don't want to fight. And she called me and talked to me for like an hour. And she was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know what was going on, because because when my supervisor left the first time, she took over. But then when my supervisor came back, she gave the position back to her to take over. So when me and her was working together, everything was good. But when the middle girl came, it was no good. So she called me and let me know, like, look, you need to appeal this decision. I really would like to have you back. I didn't want to do it. I said, excuse me. I said, I'm over it.
Oh my God. I'm out. I'm out.
And that was the key right there that we should have been
and,
offline.
and that was it.
Y'all crazy.
Drops mic.
Okay, anyways. So y'all gonna be ready on Friday.
Are you gonna be ready on Friday?
Yes, girl. We need some cue cards or something.
You said what?
We need some cue cards.
Why?
Girl, we gotta stay on topic.
We are on topic because the topics
No,
are
No,
no,
we're
no, no,
not.
no.
no, the topics. Yes, we are.
I want you to read what your headliner said. Just read it out loud right
The
now for me.
discrepancies that Black people face in the workplace. And then the description is about implicit bias and microaggression. And so when we talk about implicit bias, that's an unconscious favoritism toward or prejudice against people of a particular ethnicity, gender, social group that influences one actions or
Yes, but
perceptions.
you have to actually prove that you're being discriminated on. You can't just be telling your story about your own
Yes.
opinion.
Yes.
Well, I could tell my experience because I'm so direct, like the implicit bias when the girl slammed the
Oh no, no,
male
no, wait.
on the desk.
No more. No. You know what, Tamika?
Who slams male? No. You think that's respectful? You think that is respectful to slam male on somebody's desk?
I'm about to go make me an old fashioned right now. You gonna drive me to
No.
drink it, and I said I wasn't gonna drink
No,
during the
no, no,
week.
no. Let's be for real. Do you
That
think
was
that it's
no, that was
respectful?
disrespectful. But I don't think
Thank
she
you.
did it because she thought you were a slave. So I'm sorry,
Oh, she
I
thought I
cannot.
was a slave.
I
She thought I
can't.
was a slave.
No, I can't. You know what? I,
Okay, so why do you think she felt that she could disrespect me?
Just because
Tamika,
she felt she
because
could
she didn't want to
disrespect
pass
you.
the mail out. She didn't want
Yes.
to do it clearly. And I
That's
think
it.
had you been anybody other than herself, she would have gave you the mail to pass out because she did not want to do it. And
But
I
that's
could be
it.
wrong, and I wouldn't bet my life on it because I don't know the woman. I'm not in her skin. But based on the way that you told the story and the facts that you gave me, if I had to put money on it, my money would be that she did not think you were a slave.
She thought I was a slave. What is you talking about? Yo, bro, you don't slam no shit on no black woman desk. Who are you?
Oh God.
I'm telling
No. You think we in roots or something? Pass
Oh
this mail
Lord.
out. Who you talking to, lady?
you.
And
Girl,
me
Oh
no.
and her
Lord.
started off so good. But when I let her know that was her mail, she started crying and shit.
Bye, Tamika. I'm done.
All right, y'all.
All right. I
Bye.
see you on Friday. This has been fun as always, but in the
Bye.
words that were previously spoken, this was not a podcast. This was us shooting the shit.
This was some bullshit. Cause
And on
Right.
listen,
Friday, I will for
wait a
sure
minute. I'm
have
gonna
my
put y'all
drink.
in. I'm gonna take the podcast off, but y'all can